So today we're going to draw a giraffe using our Arteza Colore Pencils. Oops. Okay. So how we're going to start is by creating the general idea of where the neck is going to be, because it's one of the parts that's going to take up the most amount of space. And then we want to protrude from the neck forward, sort of idea, sort of a diamond shape of where the shoulders are going to be, or just like the frontal bones right here, they're going to be. It's going to be something like that. Then we want to sort of a little bit under this, because this is going to be a continuous downward slope. They never go back up and they don't flatten out. I create an idea of where the back legs are supposed to be formed. There we go. And then we just sort of create the front ones too. Something like that. You can make them a little bit longer, sort of fit the silhouette a little bit more. You can mark these little nubs here for where the knees are going to be. You can make it with triangles or circles, whichever one you find more comfortable. And then back here, as always, the back ones are going to bend backwards and the front ones are going to bend forward, so the backwards are going to stick out like so. The back joints, that is. So once we get that done, we can work on the belly. And we can get the general shape of, actually we can crop the belly a little bit more. And we can get the general shape of how the legs are going to be shaped. Maybe relatively lean and muscular. So you don't want to make them too thick, because then you would kill the elegance that this creature seems to have, even however mild it might be. Here, you're going to bend in and then bend out in order to make that joint, that line. Because there's a muscle that sticks out here, like your bicep, and then it comes back into this joint right here. Here you're going to have another knob, and then you're going to just have the legs. I'm not going to focus too much on them right now, because, I mean, you just kind of want to get a general idea of the shape of our giraffe before we proceed too far. But it's not wildly important. Here, you remember, you're going to curve forward. It's going to be a very smooth curve. And this curve right here is going to be very lean and very straight, because they just don't have a lot of bulkiness on their body, for lack of a better word. Okay. So here, there's going to be a point, because this is the highest end of the shoulders. And then it's going to slope down, and then it's going to feed into the butt. Now here we can actually, this is going to curve upwards like so. It's not going to be a straight line from here. It's going to like bend forward and then bend upwards. And here we're going to do more or less the same. Up here we can draw a circle for the head. And we can get a general idea of how the head is supposed to be shaped by drawing the ears like that. This giraffe is going to be interested in something, so the ears are going to be pointing upwards. Their eyes are really, really big, so they protrude out a lot. So this is going to be a relatively sharp curve on both sides. And it's going to kind of go like that. And they're going to have really long eyelashes as well. And now here, their snout is flat, and then it's just very, very flat. It's like the opposite of virtually any other creature that is somewhat like this. Like cows have really like short, straighter snouts. Like this is going to be flat and stem outwards and just taper out. And we kind of want to create that image by doing this. It's also going to be somewhat pointy. And their faces are rather slender as well, so I just want to keep this relatively well trimmed. You can clean this up right here. Cool. Just kind of fix that a little bit, modify it a little bit. Here's gonna be a bump because again, horns generally tend to need a foundation to start off on. They never start directly off of the skull. And the horns are going to be very round and just sort of stubby. So once we have that, we can just sort of attach it a little bit better to the neck, like so. Just gotta make a couple adjustments to make it fit a little bit more comfortably on the neck. Once we have this general setup, you can just sort of do the tail there. Once we have this general setup put together, we can begin drawing the spots on the giraffe. They're going to be irregular geometric shapes. They always have to fit into each other, but you can sort of invent how they will fit into each other. As long as they mostly fit into each other, it should be set. You can add like smaller ones and bigger ones. The more you vary, I think the better it's gonna look. Here, it's going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the animal, and the spots are gonna be a little bit smaller. It's just, as you get to the belly, it's going to like gradient and become darker. Darkest here and lightest here. So the spots around here are going to be a little bit bigger, and the ones are going to be kind of smaller too. You're gonna have that same effect where the spots become smaller as you go down the legs, and as you get on the inside of this leg, there's barely gonna be any spots. You can put a couple in, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend putting in too many. It's going to look crowded and it's not gonna make as much sense. I also tend to get a little bit more horizontal as opposed to vertical when it comes to the shape and direction of the little spots that we're making. And after some point down the leg, I'm not going to be making any more. You can add like smaller ones here later, but I think I'm just going to do that once I actually get into coloring and do it with like pencils, instead of just doing it with this is kind of a finer, more precise way of doing it, just doing it with the pencils directly as opposed to doing it now. Cool. So now we're just gonna get into the coloring. Okay, and that's how you draw a giraffe using Arteza Colore Pencils. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. See you guys next time.